Well, this has been an interesting few days, and the blast from the past. I don't know whether you saw the news. Was it yesterday? It was. Uncle Tony's back on the scene.
Yeah, he's written an essay.
Yeah, and yeah, I wonder where that'll come. Nobody's called things an essay before. It's just like a sixth form student or
Well,
what.
5,000 words is decent.
Yeah. You can almost imagine him in a school hall, can't you? You can turn over your paper now.
It's what we used to call in marketing thud value. What's that? When it hits the deck, it goes. So many pages. Yeah, but it's a decent number of pages, 5,000 words.
Well, I read it. Have you read it?
No.
Have you read it? I read it from cover to cover. I haven't got a cover, but obviously from screen to screen. And well, I thought we'd go through the sort of 10 bullet points. That,
oh God.
Yeah, to the major points. I mean, he's laid it out as 10 bullet points, but I've sized it down so that we don't go through the whole thing.
So we've got 9, have
we? We haven't got. I mean, he's opened up by making this criticism of Labour and saying that they're sitting in the comfortable soft left, which I find. I don't know what you think about that. I think you're probably going to be more on board with what he's had to say, and Kemi Badenoch will be more on board with it than I am, because I find it all a bit. He's sort of gone native since he's been on Trump's Board of Peace. It all seems to be a bit peculiar. I mean, if there was any government that was sitting in the comfortable soft left, it was his administration, his and Brown's administration in the noughties, wasn't it? Basically, they came in 97. They came in and went through there. But so he said that he wanted to see outlined a 10-point radical centre plan. This is I don't think Keir Starmer's ever been declared radical before, but he's being expected by Tony Blair to head the radical centre. So what are they what's Tony Blair looking for them to do? Support business adaptation. This is code for stop restrictive worker practices. So effectively stop looking at increasing minimum wage, stop looking at increasing minimum wage for, is it 18 to 21s, the youngsters? Stop laying on expenses to business. Yeah, it's right. It's fine as far as it goes. Now, he's also said adjust to an AI-driven economy. This all seems to me like the whole thing, really. As we go through it, you'll see. It all seems to me, some of it stating the bleeding obvious. I mean, adapting to an AI economy. Yeah, okay, this is like some old man who's discovered AI is the catchword at the moment. Doesn't seem to be any suggestion as to how you harness this particular AI economy, or what do you do? I don't know whether you've got any ideas on that. Where do you get the money to invest in AI? How do you attract? I thought we were meant to be far ahead on this one in terms of a few years ago, far ahead in terms of the world economy, and yet now we seem to be slipping down.
I think there are. I was looking at Copilot, obviously other brands available the other day. And you're invited to create your own AI agent for tasks that you might want the AI agent to do. So it made me think about if I were maybe still in charge of marketing teams, I used to be, I would actually have a work track within the team to say, right, let's see what we can do with the AI agents that we have in our suite. So I think it comes down to all levels. It doesn't have to be billions because you've probably already got the capability. It's just about encouraging people to experiment.
Utilising the facilities that are there, basically.
All of us can access, because they're sort of pretty much open source, aren't they? All of us can access the main AI platforms. And for a little bit more, you can get more capability. So I think it comes down to personal and business motivation. So that's what I think.
It's not being a world leader in providing the platforms.
Well, that would be nice, but
we have to compete with the likes of Microsoft and.
I think it's very difficult because all the big brands are doing it, aren't they? Microsoft, Apple. In fact, Apple, I would say, is a little bit behind. I've got an Apple Mac, and their AI is a little bit pedestrian.
Right.
But they're all investing, billions, not millions, billions. So I don't think we can necessarily compete with being the provider, but we can certainly be an implementer.
Yeah, yeah. So that, I mean, I can see that. And as I say, the other thing in this particular point is he's talking about removing restrictive worker regulations. Now, clearly, that's a dig at the new workers' rights bill. I would suggest that the government are looking to pilot through the House of Commons, and the agreement that they've got with the trade union to do that. When he did this, when he was in office, I do find that a bit rich. Moving on anyway, because otherwise we're going to get a bit stuck. Radical planning reform, which I think he's acknowledged that the government are already doing this. They're trying to sweep away the restrictions that stop, particularly house builders building houses in certain areas, because it's obviously a problem they've got. So I think that really is something that's happening. And he goes on to, and this is really stepping on into Trump territory, prioritizing cheap energy. And that's looking at, and the UK should choose cheaper energy, electrification, and remaining North Sea oil and gas resources over aggressive net zero climate goals. Well, that's easy to say, but what do you mean by electrification? Does it mean that we, in terms of, instead of having gas to power our boilers, we ought to be looking at electricity? Is that where we're going with this?
Well, that would be part of it, but I would imagine it's everything, isn't it? It's vehicles, it's energy and transport, such as trains, because in a lot of parts, the trains are still running on diesel and the lines haven't been electrified, for example.
That's not going to make a huge difference in terms of our train. I mean,
all three together would.
Do you think?
Yeah, they're a lot quicker as well once they've been electrified.
Are they? I'm right. So that would help. I mean, okay. I find it's tinkering around the edges, and then we're talking about he's stepping onto Trump territory when he's talking about the North Sea again. I mean, I think we've been through this already, haven't we? And I find this difficult with Kemi Badenoch as well. The North Sea oil that would be extracted from these new fields, Rosebank, and I forget what the other one's called now. Can you remember what the other name?
Something net, isn't it?
Yeah, they would all be sold on the spot market. It wouldn't be. It's not British. It's being extracted by multinationals who are under obligation to their shareholders to sell it to the highest bidder, effectively. So it doesn't make us more self-sufficient. It brings in, you could argue, minimal amounts to the treasury, but then the money we'd have to outlay to subsidise to get this most difficult oil and gas out from where it is almost counteracts any money that we get in terms of revenue. It's all a bit of a, and most analysts agree on this, and it's all a bit of a joke, all this idea that, she's trying to pretend that this would help make us more self-sufficient. Do you know what the figures are with regard to how much we already extract from the North Sea, how much we get and how much goes abroad?
No, I don't.
No. It's 80% is sold abroad and only 20% is actually used domestically. And that, in addition to that, obviously we buy from Norway. We buy in loads of oil and gas from Norway.
You can see why people don't understand it, though, can't you? So for that very point, Norway have just announced they're creating licenses now that previously they didn't, because they can see potential in some new fields. And people can argue it both ways and throw figures at each other. But most people, I think, don't understand why we're being so hard on ourselves. Because the other point about producing your own oil is, assuming they're British companies are extracting it, you get the corporation tax and the super corporation tax on the revenues.
Yeah.
If that isn't exceeded by any subsidies, although subsidies are often confused with investment tax relief, just to mention that. But yes, it is a commodity, so it's sold on the commodities market. But if it brings in additional sales, it makes sterling in more demand, because oil is then purchased in sterling, I guess. So who knows?
Yeah.
I can be convinced by both arguments, and I haven't had the will or wherefore to sit down and spreadsheet it.
I take on board the argument. You can make the argument in terms of revenue, in terms of taxation, but I'm
and jobs.
The argument and jobs maybe. The argument isn't there in terms of making us more self-sufficient. It's just not there, and these are just blatant lies. And she must know that. She's peddling this nonsense, Kemi Badenoch, and I'm not quite sure what he's doing here. He's talking about it as well. Over aggressive net zero climate goals. And this is drill, isn't it? It's Trump's agenda again. And that
possibly.
yeah. Anyway, so moving on, transforming skills and training. Well, I don't know who's not in favour of that. Reindustrializing the North. Regions must be driven through infrastructure, education and partnerships rather than heavy state bureaucracy. These are all wonderful aspirations, like, and we all want apple pie and ice cream for Sunday. How's it happen? I just find it why is he chosen now, do you think, as well, to come out with?
Well, he's done this through his Tony Blair Institute. Must be great, mustn't it, when you retire, to have an institute? Would you like the Sean Institute?
Sean Steele Institute. Yeah. It sounds a bit like an institution, though, doesn't it? It sounds like it ought to be one of these old buildings in the country that used to be.
But why now? I suppose he knew it would get maximum pickup. Because his argument, isn't it, is not just these policy interventions. His argument is that we should not be having a leadership contest. I think we'd all agree with that, which is essentially a personality contest. We should be talking about what the policy ideas are, and here's a few to put in your pipe and smoke it. And that's fine if that's what he wants to say. And some of these things I'll agree with, others he wasn't. Did he say anything about university places by any chance?
No.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I wonder why.
No, I didn't know. I mean, this idea that it's not a personality contest is a bit rich as well, isn't it? It really is a bit rich. I mean, of the last how many governments we've had in this country, his government was the most about personality, wasn't it, really? And I'm not knocking him for that, because he used the media and he used, there wasn't social media in those days, in the best way that anybody possibly could. But to suggest that he wasn't a product, he wasn't sold like a product, which he was. I mean, he was in the glistening boy and the youthful approach to these. He knows damn well that it is a beauty contest, and that's exactly what's going on at the moment. I mean, they both come back, haven't they? Because he hasn't actually said that there shouldn't be a contest. I think what he said was that by changing the leader, it's not necessarily going to change their prospects, which I agree with. But both Burnham and Streeting, I noticed we haven't had anything from Sakir, have come back and said that what he's missing out here is the inequality in this country between the haves and the have-nots, and he's not mentioned that at all. And that's true, he hasn't. I mean, the other 3 points that we're coming to an end on this particular segment now is a crackdown on illegal immigration. Well, they've done that, haven't they, to a degree? Harness the AI revolution, as we were discussing earlier. Yeah, okay. And reimagine the modern state. Long-term objectives is a smaller productivity enabling state that features lower public spending and reduced taxes. That's not a Labour agenda. That's, he could be on the right wing of the Tory party economically.
It's not a bad idea. I mean, to have lower public spending and lower taxes, most people would want that, wouldn't they?
Why is lower public spending?
Well, from a productivity point of view. So, because there was that great stat, wasn't there, that for the umpteenth year running, public sector productivity has stood still. Well, there's some growth. Did you see it?
No, I didn't. No,
it did make me laugh. But I think I took that to mean that we've got to get our productivity moving. You can't just keep pumping more money in. That was what I took that to mean.
Well, you're turning into a Blairite, aren't you, by the sounds of things? We're getting there slowly but surely, but you'll be up there cheering him on when he comes back.
I won't be cheering Tony Blair on, no. But anyway, it's good to see him pop up.